for lunch is a great way to keep your calorie count down, to keep your meals healthy, to get some great nutrition. However, eating a salad or two every single day for several days in a row gets really boring. After a while, you just kind of feel like you've eaten your way across the front lawn. And the best way to kind of maneuver around that a little bit is to do really fun, different salads with great flavors, with some different dressings that kind of pique your interest and make salads a little more interesting. And this one that we're going to do today is so delicious, and it's a great, easy afternoon lunch, very light and delicious. What we're going to do is we're going to do this beautiful pork loin on the stove, and we're going to serve it over a ready-made salad with a warm balsamic dressing. And what makes it really easy is the pork and the dressing are all made in the same pan. So I have these 4 pieces of pork loin because I'm making 2 nice spiked salads, one for me and Lee. So I have these 4 pieces of loin, and I'm just going to lightly salt and pepper both sides. A little bit more pepper. And I always say this, if black pepper is a little bit too spicy for you, you can always substitute and get a white pepper and use that in the same way. It gives you a little bit of the peppery flavor. It's just a little bit milder, and it really is quite delicious. So we got these nicely salted and peppered here. Just a little bit of seasoning going on here. Now, when you're doing things on the stovetop, a lot of times there's a little bit of a worry of things sticking to the pan. We're going to fix that. We're going to go over to the stove and I'm going to show you how. Okay, one of the ways we are going to keep these loins from sticking to the pan is preheating the pan. So I have this started, I have it turned on just between medium and medium high. I don't want it too hot and I don't want it too low. So just between medium and medium high will just be perfect. However, we want this pan to heat up. So, next little thing we're going to do is add some olive oil. Now, we always try to eat lean and think lean as we're cooking, but we're going to be making our dressing in this pan. So, I need to add a little bit extra olive oil to get this started for 2 reasons. 1, for the dressing, and 2, I want some of this olive oil to absorb some of the flavor from these really sweet pieces of pork. And by doing that, we're going to have this outstanding dressing. So, this is warming up. I'm adding about a tablespoon of oil. And we're just going to wait till that starts to shimmer, and then we'll be ready to cook. Let me get my fork. Okay, the olive oil is just starting to shimmer. And that shimmer means when you look at the pan, the olive oil kind of separates as it moves across the pan. Looks a little bit like the top of a lake when there's a breeze going. So that's what you want to look for. It's just that little bit of movement in the oil. So we got that good. We're going to drop these porks. A little sizzle's what we want. Hillbilly is kind of coming out of me today. Right in the pan. Kind of keep them in the center. And the first thing we want to do is nothing. We want to drop these in the pan and leave them alone. I'm going to wash my hands, put the plate in the dishwasher, and let these cook for about 3 minutes. Alright, we have the pork loin in the pan, cooking away. And I have, the base here is just a pre-made bagged or box salad. These are the greatest to go to. I don't have to cut up anything. They stay really fresh in the fridge. They're just a great go-to. It takes a lot of work off my plate, and they're delicious. So some basic salad assembly for me. Have to have a little onion. Spread those out a little bit. Some slices of tomato. These are perfect. A little color to that too. I'm not a big fan of, oh my goodness, look how pretty my dish looks. However, if it happens to be pretty, good. I'm more into how healthy is it, and look, Ma, I made it myself. That's the most important thing for me. We're going to add some fresh mushrooms to the salad. This is really a great flavor, and they're very good for you. Okay. Some cucumber. I can eat these like potato chips. I think they're so good. And huge amount of flavor and nutrition in that. Making it look pretty nice there. Not too bad. Now the only other thing I have is a really delicious blue cheese. It's a crumbled blue cheese. And I'm going to put this on top after the meat goes in. And if you don't like blue cheese, leave it out. Maybe switch it for a little bit of feta, something creamy. It'd be really good. But that we're going to have on the side. We're going to finish cooking up our pork and get this salad ready for lunch. All right, now these have been cooking for just a couple of minutes. My my stove is a little cattywampus. It tends to run to one side, so I will rotate my pan from time to time. If you're ever watching my videos and it stops and my handle's over here and we start back up and my handle's over here, that is what's happened. Because all my oil is going to run to one side and I want all the pieces to get a good little crust on the bottom. Now these are only about 1 inch thick, but we still want to make sure that they're perfectly cooked. So we're all going to take a measurement, but we're going to flip them over. And because we preheated our pan, got that pan nice and hot, and we didn't move these around, they pop right off. Look at that. Nice brown on there. Ooh. Just what the doctor ordered. Picking those up and moving them right over. This is delicious. When I get that oil moved around and flipped over. And again, lay them down, leave them alone. For about another 3 to 4 minutes, we're going to take an internal temperature so we know that they're cooked just right. All right, now this has been cooking for about 3.5 to 4 minutes. We're going to take a quick temperature here, Fahrenheit on, and I'm going to measure the center of the thickest piece of meat, and we want it at about 140 degrees and 142. Oh, right on, my man. Okay. So, these are beautifully cooked, and we're going to pull them out of the pan and put them on a saucer so we can make the dressing. Look at those beautiful pieces of pork loin. All right, we're going to set these off to the side and make our dressing. Now, I want those warm, but I don't want them hot. So I want them to cool for just a second while we make this dressing. Now, there are some bits and pieces of that pork on the bottom of this pan, and that is going to help flavor this dressing something amazing. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use 3 tablespoons of balsamic dressing, of balsamic vinegar. Yahoo! Okay, right into the sink. Whew. Little fresh smell to clean your sinuses out. Now that little bit of vinegar is going to get all that bits off the bottom of the pan and help flavor this dressing. And now we're turning off the stove. Woo, very vinegary. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, grab my whisk, is add 2 more tablespoons of olive oil. Now remember, I'm making dressing for 2 salads, okay? So, we're just going to let that just get warm. Awesome. Oh, that smells so good. All right. So now the stove is off. The oil and the vinegar is in the pan, just getting warm. We'll be back in just 1 second. We want this to cool off for about 2 minutes. All right, now this has started to cool a little bit. The olive oil and the vinegar has kind of separated and has cleaned the bottom of this pan, which is going to be two really good things for me. It's going to do one thing here. It's going to make my dressing taste amazing. And when it's time for cleanup, this pan has already cleaned itself basically. It's going to be real easy on the other end of this. Now I have a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and we're going to just toss that in right into this pan. It's still warm. And now it's all over my fingers. Knock this out, grab my whisk, and just mix this together. Give it a second for that mustard to do its job. That's going to pull everything together and get this nice light brown texture. Gets a little creamy, and that's just what we're looking for. All right, I'm going to put this in a dish and we're going to serve it up. All right, this dressing is perfect and ready to go on the salad. So I'm just going to scrape it off into a dish here so I don't overdress my salad. Kind of looks like chocolate sauce, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. It smells so amazing. And that bit of pork on the bottom of the pan with this dressing, outstanding. Okay, so this is the consistency what we want. Awesome. Right into the seasoning. All right, now let's put together this amazing salad. So I got a couple of pieces of pork here. And put that off with that Lee's piece. Let's get a spoon here and drizzle on our dressing. Look how amazing this looks. Okay, a couple of tablespoons. There should be enough for 2 whole salads here. Delicious. Because this is mine, I want to get all of the dressing here. And now is the time that we're going to put on the blue cheese. So, right on top, that blue cheese with that balsamic and that pork, amazing. Look how great this looks. I can't tell you how good this smells. And because we let the pork cool a little bit, so it's now just warmer than room temperature. It's just warm to touch. And that dressing is just slightly warm. The lettuce is going to be not wilted, but it's just going to take a little bit more of a tender twist, and it's just going to be delicious. You're going to love it. Now, my favorite time, we are going to taste this. You know, this is my favorite time. And I'm just going to get a piece of the pork right here on the side. That blue cheese dressing is just starting to warm up a little bit. Got a cucumber. This is when my eyes are bigger than my mouth sometimes. This is off the hook. This is so good. This is one of those amazing lunches that you can feel really good about eating. Really simple to prepare. Maybe if you have a friend over who's helping you do some chopping. Oh my goodness, it's so delicious. And you want to do a little impressing. This is the go-to. Great lunch, great dinner. In fact, I think it's time for me and Lee to eat. You're going to love this, and we're going to see you in the kitchen.